So with some juice.
This is the I'm gonna switch it out. Yeah.
When you re-switch your batteries, I got one little step for you here.
Okay.
Turn the inner stabilization on.
This one I usually do. Yeah. This one I do always. Yeah. It was the one that I was the focus one that sort of threw me off. I'm not familiar with all the camera functions on here. There was one I was wondering about.
What was that?
And that's over here. It shows a microphone, and then it says it's like.
Oh yeah, there's a little wind screen.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
Right. So that's not really anything.
Yep, I can see just fine. Many times have I told you, you look after the HarbourCats, I'll look after us. Maybe optimistic. We can't wait to see.
No ball? Yeah. One sec, Chris. John needs to get his headset out quick.
I had a 30 stash about a week ago. Well, you gotta get this.
Well, that's it. Lee'll never shave that off. We want him to shave it off, but he won't.
Nah.
We just gotta get him dragged there, get him all.
Time for a talk. Right before we start. Yeah.
All right, Chris, we're ready. You ready? Okay. All right. Hey, John, how's it going?
Going great. Good to be back in the booth.
Yeah, should be a good first game with the two of us doing it at the same time. Well, it's like an extra long around the WCL segment.
Absolutely. It's going to be a blast. Are you ready for it?
Well, you can mix and match. Whatever. Is there enough space for this to be up here?
I think so.
Okay, you can try
I haven't totally set.
Try just put your phone there.
So you just carry it? You just leave?
It stays when we're on post it. Are you able to go get this filled up?
Yeah.
Or find somebody? Yeah. Thanks. Oh man.
Bad deal with that power cord already.
Oh, yeah?
Already hit twice.
Yeah.
So I have our lineup.
Sweet. You have theirs?
Yeah.
Chris Jackson started.
Yeah. So generally, I mean, the first thing is you can do a lot of the stats stuff.
Yeah.
I just call what I see.
Yeah.
And then you can have the stats. You can have stats ready.
Yeah.
So you can go through like the starters. You can go through the starters lines, and then when there's relievers come in, you can do the lines on the relievers.
Okay.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll just lay off stat stuff, and
Okay.
feel free to bring up points, conversations.
Yeah, we
ask
can have
me,
lots of conversations.
ask me questions if you want to.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah, well, I think it's definitely a good idea to have like a bunch of conversations throughout the game, especially in like the lower.
Yeah, and it's a feel. Generally how my games go is the first 2 innings especially, but kind of the first third of the game is more geared towards setting the scene, especially a series opener.
And yeah, a lot of stats.
So it's kind of setting up the series early on.
Right.
And then yep. Got it.
Okay, got it. So you can hold on to that after talk to it.
Okay, and we will do these things like to get these
Out of the way, yeah.
We'll do these after in consecutive breaks. So there's 4 of them. we'll do those in consecutive breaks starting at the end of this second.
Okay.
Sure.
So I'm gonna fill up my water bottle. Or if I reach over and have it. Oh, it is full.
Okay, and you can look at the 2 for reference.
The lineup? Okay.
No, if this was as high as that ceiling, it wouldn't be as difficult, and then I can actually stand up to it.
There's cat's gonna come out and see why. What? You'll see why you might get run over. Just watch yourself.
The mascot's on an ATV.
No, you'll see why. He's got a little toy.
going down to the field here, Jim Swanson.
Thanks very much, Dan. Hey, welcome everybody. It's Forces Friday with Galaxy Motors. I want to thank Galaxy Motors for allowing us to put on Forces Fridays this year. And thank you again. Anybody who's here at Forces Friday, let's hear a hand from you today. Anyone involved in the military, thank you very much. Military, we appreciate the work that you do for our country and our communities. Thank you very, very much. And we're pleased to have you here and be able to recognize you this way. Before I get going, there's a great group from the Wellesley Seniors Home right up there. Give us a wave, everybody. Great to have you here. Thank you very much. And while I'm on the topic of veterans, we have a gentleman here named Fred Gowdy who turned 90 years old yesterday. How about a happy birthday clap to Fred right there? I believe it's his first HarbourCats game too, right? Second. Great. We'll make sure there's a third and a fourth. Happy birthday, sir. It's fantastic. We have a bit of a historic happening here tonight, and I want to ask my brother, team president Ken Swanson, is out with us as well. Tonight marks something we think is quite interesting. It's the first time in West Coast League history that two former Major League players have met as head coaches in a game. So I want to first ask our head coach, Ryan McRae, if you can go on out and join us. And please welcome Alan Embry from the Bend Elks. Brian, 10 years in the big leagues, most of them with the Royals. Alan, 16 years in the big leagues. Get in there. Now, just some trivia for you. Alan recorded the final out of that 2004 comeback series by the Red Sox against the Yankees, for those who remember that one. Down 3-0, Dave Roberts, all that stuff. These two guys faced each other 3 times in the big leagues. Alan, a lefty thrower, Brian, a switch hitter, and Brian was 1 for 3 against him with no strikeouts, so I think he won the battle right there. So gentlemen, thank you for being part of our league. It's our pleasure. Thank you very much. Thank you. That's great stuff right there. Tonight is Freedom 55 Financials game night. We got a bunch of groups here involved with that, and we got a guy who thinks he's got muscles involved with that. Chris Johnstone is going to come on out on behalf of Freedom 55 Financial. He was a HarbourCat for a day. He signed a 1-day contract, then we cut him. So, Chris Johnstone, welcome to the field. And buddy, you're going to go throw his first pitch for us. And I believe Nick Belfronto is going to be your catcher. Nick has family in town for this game too. That's great stuff right there. Oh yeah, take off your waist clothes. People want that. Chris Johnstone, Freedom 55 Financial. Chris, we have a good time with you, buddy, but basically, thank you very much for all you do for HarbourCats in the community, what you do tangibly, what you do intangibly, buddy. We thank you. You're the best. Thanks, buddy. Thanks, buddy. He also gets to sing the Take Out the Ball game a little bit later. Back up to you guys in the booth. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise and remove your hats for the singing of the national anthems, performed tonight by Catherine Beckett.
Right.
Good evening, baseball fans, and welcome to Royal Athletic Park for the opener of a 3-game series between the Victoria HarbourCats and the Bend Elks. My name is Jonathan Hodson for a Go Live broadcast. Thrilled to be joined in the booth tonight by my colleague Mike Edwards. Mike, it's a great night for baseball.
It is, John, and it's good to be here in the booth with you tonight. It'll be like an extra long Around the West Coast League segment, except instead of just being up here for the half inning or the inning, we'll be here for the whole game. So it should be a blast for sure. A beautiful night for baseball here at Royal Athletic Park, and the HarbourCats coming in on a big win streak, John.
Winners of 8 in a row after sweeping away the Kelowna Falcons on the road the last 3 days, outscoring them 36-8.
Yeah, so Victoria comes in with really swinging some hot bats, to be sure, and they'll look to continue those, bring their hot bats home with them from Kelowna here to Royal Athletic Park as the umpires meet with the managers at home plate, and we saw a cool pregame ceremony with Alan Embry and Brian McRae. This is the first ever matchup in the West Coast League with two managers that are former big leaguers meeting in the West Coast League. So it's certainly an interesting side story to keep track of tonight.
We will get into that as the night goes on for sure. The HarbourCats in their home whites with the blue hats have just taken the field, led by their starting left-hander Isaac Mullins, who takes his sixth start of the season. We'll quickly go through the lineup for the Bend Elks, and then we will get you Isaac Mullins' numbers. Leading off for the Bend Elks, we'll have Mike take the starting lineup.
Sure, John. Yeah, here's a look at the lineup for the Elks. It'll be Derek Chapman leading things off, Colton Cosner in left field, Chapman in center, by the way. Colton Cosner in left, bats second. Colton Runge bats third, the second baseman. Nico Holm at first base, bats fourth. George Mendizona, the shortstop, bats fifth. Pat Flynn, the designated hitter, batting sixth. Zach Clayton in right field, bats seventh. Cal Waterman behind the plate catching tonight, bats eighth. And Rocco Ferrari at the hot corner at third base, bats ninth.
Calling it right now, member of the West Coast League all names team. Has to be. We will see right-hander Chris Jackson on the mound for Bend. When we go to the bottom of the first inning, Bryce Bonner delivers the last warm-up toss down to second base. Mike, introduce us to Isaac Mullins.
Yeah, Isaac Mullins getting the start, the left-hander, standing at 6'1", 190 pounds, out of Washington State. He is headed for his sophomore season at Washington State with the Cougars from North Bend, Washington. On the season so far has been quite good for Victoria, making his sixth start tonight, has a 3.64 ERA in 24 2/3 innings. He has struck out 16 to 5 walks allowed. Has also allowed 28 hits. He stands at a record of 0-1, but it's safe to say he's had a couple of tough luck, no decisions, where the HarbourCats didn't give him a whole lot of run support to work with in that first half.
And the thing they've been working on with Mullins is he was the starter for part of the year at Washington State, but was not a guy that would go deep into games. And that's part of what you saw early in the year, was the lack of ability to go deep. They've been working on that, and yes, he's given up some unearned runs as well, which has taken him out of line for some wins. So we'll see what's in store tonight. The head coaches meeting is just broken up between Brian McRae and Alan Embry, and in steps Derek Chapman. Lefty-lefty matchup to begin the ball game. Center fielder Derek Chapman. There's 29 and bats left. The leading hitter for Bend fouls the first pitch back. Chapman comes in hitting .339 with 3 home runs and 18 RBIs. Mullins 0-1, outside and low.
And John, you mentioned about Mullins, about trying to really work on pitching deeper into games. He's only gone 6 innings once in his 5 starts this season, so that's certainly an area of improvement for him.
Ground ball back at first base, flip to Mullins covering. Does he get there? No. Harrison Bragg was playing deep at first base, fielded that ground ball, and Mullins lost the foot race to Derek Chapman.
So that it looks like it should be ruled an infield hit for Chapman to lead off the ball game, and always a good sign for the away team coming in for Ben tonight to get that leadoff hitter aboard in the top of the first inning and try to get to Mullins early on.
Bend comes in batting .246 as a team, scoring right on 5 runs per game. Missing ball 1 to Colton Cosner. Cosner, the left fielder, wears 7 and bats right. Beautiful night here at RAP. Temperatures in the low 20s. Clear and sunny overhead. Wind blowing left to right a little bit. Set for the 1-0. Swing and a miss. 1-1. With this 8-game win streak, the HarbourCats have their overall record up to 18-13, but the more relevant mark is the 4-0 record in the second half. Swing and a miss. 1-2.
Yeah, John, and obviously it's going to be critically important the second half of the season. The first half is behind them. It is officially not a factor anymore. It's going to be the second half, that second half record that determines the HarbourCats' fate as they push for a playoff spot trying to win this North Division.
They've staked themselves to an early lead in the the North Division second half. The HarbourCats played their 27th game before anybody else in the West Coast League, meaning they had a head start on their second half. 1-2, upstairs, 2-2. Now Bonner will go out to talk to Mullins.
And that head start that you mentioned, John, the HarbourCats got off to with getting their first half over earlier than a lot of teams and starting their second half schedule early certainly plays into their advantage when you get off to the hot start they have to be right at the top of the division with the rest of the teams chasing you. That's right where you want to be all second half long.
HarbourCats coming in at 4-0. 2-2 pitch, strike 3 called on Colton Cosner. That's the first out of the top of the first.
Yeah, nice pitch there by Mullins, well located, and that is his first strikeout of the evening. We also saw Mullins paying a fair bit of attention to Derek Chapman over there at first base, and for good reason. Chapman has stolen 4 bags on the season, so a definite speed threat atop the order for the Elks.
1 out, 1 on for Colton Runge. Runge takes a strike. So the strikeout for Isaac Mullins is 17th in 25 innings pitched. A 1-1 popped up right side, out of play. Bonner gives it a look. Runge comes in batting .280 with a home run and 8 RBIs. Had a nice long chat with Bend Elks play-by-play man Anders Jorstad before the game. Upstairs, he mentioned that this club is hard-pressed to score quickly at times. Not a whole lot of power in this Elks lineup.
No, they don't have a whole lot of power, but they will hit for average, and in a park like this, it's going to certainly be important for Mullins to keep the contact at a weak contact rate and make sure that the Elks can't string together too many base hits.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Bend making Mullins work a little bit here in the top of the first. Just underway. 1 on, 1 out. The count is 2-2 to second baseman Cole Runge. No score in the opener of a 3-game series. Runner goes, pitches low, throw down, a good throw. The tag is there. Bryce Bonner guns down Derek Chapman for the second out.
Good strong throw by Bonner down to second base, and it was an accurate one, more importantly, right on the bag and on the first base side of the bag to give the second baseman Nick Maroney a chance to catch and apply the tag right away. And the speedy Chapman is retired for the second out.
Bases clear now, 2 outs and a 3-2 pitch. Shattered bat, ground ball weakly to third base. Bellafronto across for out number 3. So my how an inning can change. A caught stealing and a ground ball to end the inning. We go to the bottom of the first here on Go Live Broadcast. Just underway, no score. Bend and the HarbourCats. Welcome back to Royal Athletic Park. We go to the bottom of the first inning, scoreless between the Bend Elks and the Victoria HarbourCats, and Mike Edwards will introduce you to the Bend starting pitcher.
Chris Jackson gets the start for the Elks, a right-hander out of Corbin University, heading for his senior season there at Corbin University. And he has a 2-2 record in 5 starts this season, a 3.72 ERA. In 29 innings pitched, he has 21 strikeouts to 8 walks and 30 hits allowed.
This is Harry Shipley leading off with the 2-0 count.
And Jackson has been one of the better arms, at least in the starting rotation for the Elks so far this season.
Lays a strike over, 2-1. We'll run through the HarbourCats order 1 through 9 after the hitter. Ground ball foul towards the HarbourCats dugout, 2-2. Two and two. Outside, a good leadoff at bat here by Harry Shipley.
Yeah, good at bat for Shipley to run the count full and give DJ Porter over there at the on-deck circle a chance to see what Jackson is featuring.
Outside, ball 4, and Mike will take you through the HarbourCats lineup.
So a nice leadoff walk for Harry Shipley in his familiar leadoff spot at short. DJ Porter, as mentioned, the DH, bats second. Hunter Vansaw bats third in right field. Harrison Bragg in the cleanup spot at first. Kevin Pollard in left field bats fifth. Bryce Bonner is behind the plate and catching. He bats sixth. Ethan Lopez in center field bats seventh. Nick Bellafronto at third bats eighth. And Nick Maroney, the second baseman, bats ninth.
This is DJ Porter grounding to second base, bobbled, and is there a play at second base? There is. For the forced play on Shipley, Colton Runge had a potential double play ball rolled to him, but had a tough time with it.
Well, it was a hard hit ball. It was always going to be a tough play for Runge, but had he come up with it cleanly, he probably would have had the double play. It was hit hard enough that I don't think Porter would have been able to leg that one out, but still good composure by Runge to stay with it and get the lead runner at second base, even though he wasn't able to get the double play started.
1 out, 1 on for Hunter Vansaw. Vansaw hit a pair of home runs in the sweep over Kelowna.
And Vansaw has been a welcome addition to this HarbourCats lineup, one of the later arrivals, but he's made an immediate impact since coming over from Mississippi State.
1-0 pitch. Outside, 2-0. So Chris Jackson falling behind a couple of hitters here in the bottom of the first inning. Hunter Vansaw and Harrison Bragg joined the team about 3 weeks late after a Super Regionals run with Mississippi State. 2-0 pitch is outside. Out of the chute was Waterman, but staying at first base was DJ Porter, and it's 3-0.
You mentioned the 2 home runs that Bragg hit in Kelowna, or I should say Vansell hit in Kelowna, but Bragg is another guy who has shown a lot of flashes of power for Victoria as well.
3-0 takes all the way. We've been talking a little bit off air, but what a luxury it is for Brian McRae to have power basically 1 through 9.
Well, it certainly is, and we were looking at the lineup, and in the 9 spot, Nick Maroney, we've seen him with a lot of pop this season as well. So
1 is ball 4.
Jackson appears to have a little trouble with his command, issuing a pair of walks to start the game. But you're right, John, the HarbourCats, we knew they were always the bats were going to come. We knew they were going to come around with the amount of talent on the roster and the depth available to Brian McRae, but it appears as though that road trip to Kelowna and the homestand before that was the turning point for Victoria so far in the season. Now it's just a matter of trying to sustain those hot bats through the rest of the way in the second half.
First and second, 1 out, a pair of walks in the inning, and Harrison Bragg steps in. Bragg, the first baseman. First pitch swung on, popped up right side, into right field, easy play. Porter not tagging up, so the fly ball will be the second out of the inning.
Yeah, first pitch swinging was Bragg on that one, but got a little too far underneath it, and it was an easy play in right field.
2 outs for Kevin Collard. The defense for the Bend Elks tonight, Kyle Waterman catches Chris Jackson. The defense, third to first. Third to first, they go Ferrari, Mendozona, Runge, Holmes, and the outfield left to right goes Cosner, Chapman, and Clayton. Kevin Collard playing left field tonight. Comes in batting .288. First pitch is a called strike.
Kevin Collard headed for his sophomore year at the University of San Diego. He was a returning HarbourCat. Wasn't here last year, but in 2015 was a member of the HarbourCats and had a great season for Victoria.
Low and away, 1-1.
And Collard recently has started to pick up his numbers at the plate, and he's kind of shown these HarbourCats fans a lot of what they were seeing 2 years ago.
Absolutely. And funny enough, we talk about all this offense the last week to 2 weeks as we wait for the 1-1 pitch outside the low. It really started with pitching. The team really played pretty much its worst baseball in the home games against Corvallis, but then went down to Corvallis and shut the Knights out in back-to-back days. And once the team started to get their starting staff sorted out, outside again, 3-1 now to Collard. Once the pitching started to solidify, that's when the bats came around.
Yeah, well, you're totally right, John, and without getting too far ahead of ourselves, if the HarbourCats are able to keep this run going and into the second half and push for a playoff spot, that series in Corvallis, the road series where they had the back-to-back shutouts, is probably going to be considered the turning point for them of the season, and it was their pitching with the back-to-back shutouts of a vaunted Corvallis Knights lineup 2 days in a row that had never been done before in Corvallis. So it could be the turning point potentially in the season for them.
3-1 pitch is ripped to first base, knocked down, now to foot race. Collard will be beaten over to first base by the pitcher Jackson, and that will do it for the bottom of the first inning. Chris Jackson gets around a pair of walks, and we will go to the second in a scoreless tie here on Go Live Broadcast.
I think it's just
And welcome back to Royal Athletic Park. Scoreless after one inning of play between the Victoria HarbourCats and the Bend Elks. Isaac Mullins back to the hill. For the HarbourCats, he got around a leadoff infield single to post a scoreless frame. Jonathan Hudson and Mike Edwards on the call with you tonight. Ball one is issued to Nico Home. 1-0 pitch is a called strike. 4, 5, and 6 Home, Mendozona, and Flynn in the inning. One pitch, swing and a miss. 85 on the gun from Mullins, and that's pretty much what you're going to see from Isaac Mullins. Fastball, changeup, breaking ball. One, two. Flown into right field, shading over his bandsaw. They'll camp under it and make the play. One down. This will bring in George Mendozona, a second-year Bend Elk, an all-star last year. Important for any club to have some form of veteran leadership, and that's what Mendozona brings the Bend Elks.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mendozona is going into his sophomore year at Oregon State, so he has that baseball culture, the great culture at OSU.
Down the left field line, shitting over towards the line and making the play on the run is Kevin Collard.
2 quick outs for Mullins here in the second inning, and that's exactly what you like to see from a starting pitcher. Getting out of the first inning with a scoreless frame, and now 2 quick outs, keeping the pitch count down here in the second.
And that's a good point. This is a very good sign for Isaac. After he did throw quite a few pitches in the first inning, he only faced 3 hitters, but all 3 went deep into their counts. He's gotten early contact here in the second inning, and that's the kind of guy he's going to be, is a pitch to contact, hopefully get early outs, and he's worked ahead of Pat Flynn, 0-2. 0-2 pitch, and away.
And Mullins has also done a nice job of getting ahead of hitters here to start the game. The only
to recognize a certain military member of our Met. And today, I'd like to all help to thank Colin Duda, who's originally from Macau, Saskatchewan, for his service to our country. He worked as a Marine Systems Engineer, U.S. System Command, and Air Force Base, and several deployments in South America, sir. Thank you very much for your service to Canada. We appreciate it, and these people all appreciate it. Those who are the nation of law. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Welcome back to Go Live broadcast coverage of the Victoria HarbourCats and the Bend Elks, first of 3 this weekend. From Royal Athletic Park, Jonathan Hudson, Mike Edwards with you. We go to the bottom of the second scoreless with Bryce Bonner leading off for the HarbourCats.
And Bonner is a guy, another one of the HarbourCats, who certainly was disappointed to leave Kelowna. He had a big series there raised the average up to 256. It was down in the high 100s before that series, and Bonner was able to bring the average back up with a good series. Bonner was a guy, when he came over to the HarbourCats, he played a fair bit right out the gate, but then fell out of favor a little bit.
Inside, and Bonner is hit by a pitch to begin the bottom of the second. That'll bring in Ethan Lopez.
And just to wrap that thought on Bonner, it's tough when you're getting sporadic at-bats and you're not getting consistent playing time with all of the catching depth the HarbourCats do have. It's tough to be productive at the plate with those sporadic at-bats, but Bonner in Kelowna was able to find his swing again.
This is Ethan Lopez, center fielder, batting 7th in the order. The HarbourCats have had 3 free base runners tonight already. Ground ball, high chopper to first base, on to second, bobbled, and everybody's safe. There will likely be an error on that play, Mike.
Yeah, that just popped out of the glove of the shortstop. I believe that was Mendozona covering the bag. The throw looked like it was on the money from home, Nico Home at first base, but Mendozona just wasn't able to squeeze it while stepping on the second base bag.
And they do charge the error to Mendozona on the E6. So the HarbourCats have now been given 2 walks. Those came in the first inning. And now here in the second, a hit batter and an error committed. Nick Bellafronto shows bunt and takes back for strike 1.
And with nobody out here in the bottom of the second, this is a golden opportunity for the Cats to jump on the Elks and take advantage of these mistakes.
You can't let a team like this hang around when they give you extra opportunities. Swinging to miss, 0-2. Bellafronto and now down 0-2, so he'll have to battle.
Yeah, no bunting anymore with 2 strikes for Bellafronto.
He's 1 for 5 in 3 games played. Coming to Victoria out of Stanford. 0-2 outside.
And this becomes an important at-bat in this ball game for Bellafronto to try to battle and at the very least advance the runners without, of course, trying to stay out of the double play ball.
Bonner at second, Lopez at first. Look at second, and the pitch is strike 3 called on Bellafronto. Strikeout number 1 for Chris Jackson.
Big strikeout for Jackson to kind of stop the bleeding here to start the second inning after what looked like you didn't think he really deserved to have the 2 base runners on him. Of course, the hit by pitch to start the inning on a pitch that just got away from him a little bit, and then the error by his shortstop, George Mendozona.
First and second, 1 out for Nick Maroney. Second baseman Maroney has shown pop with a couple of home runs. Throw back to second base. Mike, what did we see there?
I think that one hit their base runner there at second. That's Bonner over there at second base. He's back in safely, but paid a price for it.
Still no count on Nick Maroney, who enters hitting at .333 with 2 home runs and 4 RBIs. Long look at Bonner again. And the pitch. Bunt is put down third base grass. Jackson off the mound. Bare hand throw is on the money to get Maroney. 2 outs. The bunt will move runners to second and third to the top of the order for Harry Shipley.
And that was a really nice bunt by Maroney. Well executed. Got it down where he wanted to, right inside the foul line down the third base side. And that allows Bonner to get to third and Lopez to get to second.
Big spot here, second and third, 2 out. Bottom of the second, still no score between the HarbourCats and the Bend Elks. Strike 1 on Harry Shipley. Shipley walked to lead off the bottom of the first inning. Don't want to let these opportunities keep passing you by. 0-1 in the dirt, kept in front by Waterman.
And an important block by Waterman there. Of course, if you're Jackson and the Elks, you want to make the HarbourCats earn that first run of the ball game that's just 90 feet away. You don't want to let them get it in on a wild pitch.
Set for 1-1. Ground ball to the right side and throw. A base hit. One will score. Trail runner sent. The throw is cut off. Harry Shipley delivers a 2 RBI single, and the HarbourCats lead 2-0.
Yeah, John, and what do we say about taking advantage of the opportunities? It's a hit by pitch and the air that come around to score the first 2 runs of this ball game, and those 2 out base hits are always crucial, and Harry Shipley comes through for Victoria here in the second.
Both of those runs are unearned on Chris Jackson. 2 outs, runner at first base for DJ Porter. Porter is 0 for 1. He takes a strike there. Couple of RBIs for Harry Shipley. And the HarbourCats lead 2-0. At the end of the inning, we have part 1 of a highlight pack from action back on July 1st. So stick around for that. 0-1 pitch. Low and away. Harry Shipley over at first base has 8 steals on the year. Speed not a huge part of the HarbourCats game this year, but something they can do a little bit, especially with Harry Shipley over at first. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
And certainly Shipley is one of the few guys on the roster that is a legitimate base stealing threat. Shipley, one of the faster guys in the leadoff spot, but again, John, as you mentioned, not a roster filled with guys who are going to swipe too many bags.
1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Couple of strikeouts for Jackson in the bottom of the second. But Harry Shipley drives in 2, and the HarbourCats lead 2-0. After 2 innings of play here on Go Live Broadcast, here's part 1 of a highlight pack from the HarbourCats action back on July 1st.
So much going on around town. People are doing different things today. There's a big hit by Granberg, and it looks like it might be yard. It definitely is. A solo shot. I think that even cleared the mesh in left field, found its way onto the street. So Granberg hits a 1-run homer to open the scoring. He hits one to left field, and that's got some distance, but it looks like it's very catchable. Oh, and Riley Zajac makes a nice jumping catch right at the fence for the 3rd out to end the inning in the top of the 5th.
Swung on, hit high and deep to right field, back towards the track. At the base of the wall, reaching up and making the play is Jake Gorilla. First pitch is popped up back of short into shallow left field. Coming on to make the play and not tagging is McGuire. The throw is way offline on the backstop, and now McGuire can score. Torsion. Just about to get underway here in the top of the 3rd. The HarbourCats lead the Bend Elks 2-0. Isaac Mullins back to the mound for the 3rd with my broadcast partner Mike Edwards. Isaac Mullins has been good through 2.
He has, and the HarbourCats, after getting that 2-0 lead, will be looking for Mullins here in the 3rd to have another quick inning and get his team back in the dugout to try to get back at the Bend starter Chris Jackson.
This is Zach Clayton, the right fielder, leading off with a 1-1 count. Mullins has faced 6 batters in the first 2 innings. He gave up a leadoff single in the first. Ground ball, third base, backhand pick. Got a piece of it, but no play for Nick Bellafronto.
That was a really tough hop for Bellafronto. A high chopper to third base. He tried to grab it on the short hop and just tipped off his glove. He wouldn't have had a whole lot of time either, given how slowly that one got to him to get Clayton.
That is ruled a single for Zach Clayton, so 2 hits now for Bent, and the hitter will be Cal Waterman, the catcher. Bend Elk out hitting the HarbourCats 2-1. Ground ball tapped back to the mound. Mullins spins and fires to first base to get the out.
Good decision by Mullins that time to not get too greedy and go for the lead runner. I think the safe play was to go to first to get Waterman, and he made a good throw on the money to ensure he did get the first out of the inning.
That'll bring in third baseman Rocco Ferrari. Third baseman wears 14 and bats right. Joe's bunt puts it down foul. Gets behind Bryce Bonner. We've seen some runners in motion. We've seen bunts put down a few times. We're still just in the top of the third. The managers have been pretty busy in the first 2+ innings. They must know what they're doing.
Yeah, well, the managers in this one, as we mentioned at the outset of the game, are Brian McRae for Victoria and Alan Embry on the Bend side. And if those names are familiar, it's probably because you saw them in the big leagues the first time. This is the first game that two managers, former big league players and now current West Coast League managers.
Runner is off to third. Sorry to cut in front of you there. Stolen base of third for Zach Clayton.
And a nice a stolen base for Clayton to get in 90 feet away from home with less than 2 outs.
And the count is 1-2 on Rocco Ferrari. Swing and a miss, strike 3 on Ferrari, so he goes down. 2 outs.
Man, a big strikeout for Mullins as he tries to work his way out of the inning without surrendering any damage.
That is 3 strikeouts now for Mullins, and top of the order now for Derek Chapman. But as we were saying, a combined 26 years of Major League service time between the two head coaches.
And McRae, as a position player, Embry as a pitcher, they faced each other 3 times, and McRae was 1 for 3 with a single and no strikeouts, so...
Ripped to left field, right in the tracks of Kevin Collard. Isaac Mullins will strand the runner at third base. We'll go to the bottom of the third, and here is part 2 of the July 1st highlight pack from Go Live Broadcast. Vansall. 1-1.
Well hit.
To right field, a base hit. Hunter Vansall comes through. RBI single to right. Scores Maroney with 2 down, and the HarbourCats have taken a 2-1 lead.
None out in the bottom of the 8th. Vansall made solid contact with the ball, but it goes straight to the center fielder, Kuna Quiggle, who makes a nice diving catch. And of course, Travis Kuhn would love him to be the game-ending out. Here's the pitch. Swing to short, or to second. The relay to first, and the game is over. As Ryan Kim grounds out to second, and the HarbourCats pick up their 5th win in a row, sweeping the series with the Cowlitz Black Bears, who took an early lead in the 3rd inning on 1-0 on a solo home run by Devlin Granberg, and then put 2 across in the bottom of the 5th to take the victory.
Welcome back to Royal Athletic Park. 2-0 HarbourCats lead the Bend Elks, the first of a 3-game series, tonight, tomorrow night, and then Sunday afternoon. Jonathan Hudson and Mike Edwards on the call tonight. Hunter Vansall takes ball 1.
That one coming in a little tight on Vansall for the first pitch of the inning. Had to just move the knee back a little bit out of the way of that one.
1-0, swung on, ground ball to first base, knocked down, but it kicks away. The flip is not in time. So we'll see what the scoreboard flashes on that play. It was a ground ball on home. It hopped up on him a little bit, and they're giving Vansall the single.
Yeah, it's going to be ruled a hit. I'm not convinced that one was a hit, John. But we'll be kind to Hunter Vansall and give him the hit.
What do they say? We'll put that one in our scorebooks in pencil.
In pencil, yeah. We'll see if they change it later tonight.
So Vansaw is at first base to lead off the bottom of the third. It'll bring in Harrison Bragg. Bragg flew out to left field in his first at-bat. Outside for ball one. Not a lot of hard contact against Chris Jackson so far in this game, but he's having a bit of a tough time out there.
A little bit of a struggle with his command is Chris Jackson, and the HarbourCats once again getting their leadoff runner on.
Swing and a miss, 1-1.
Or the leadoff hitter on, I should say, in the inning, with Vansaw reaching on as they ruled it the hit.
Jackson walked 2 batters in the first inning and then hit a batter and had a batter reach via error in the second. Both of those runners came around to score to give us our 2-0 lead right now. A throw over chased Vansaw back into the bag a moment ago. Bragg takes the strike.
And really, that's been the difference in the ballgame so far here in the early innings, is that Mullins has just been a little bit more sharp out there on the mound with his command and getting strikes across early in the count, as opposed to Jackson, who is still struggling to find that strike zone.
HarbourCats are throwing strikes and playing clean baseball. Bend struggled to throw strikes, and they've committed a costly error. Runner goes, pitches low, throw down's a good throw. The tag is not in time. Strong throw from Cal Waterman behind the dish, but it was just a little too far off the bag for Mendozona to slap the tag down, so a stolen base for Hunter Vansaw.
Yeah, and just judging from the reaction of the second baseman covering the bag, Runge, I think he thought that the throw was in time, but ruled safe by the umpire, and Vansaw has a stolen base. He's in scoring position with nobody out.
Good call. Runge was on the tag at second base. The count is 2-2 on Harrison Bragg, with the runner now in scoring position. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Strikeout number 3 for Jackson.
Good comeback pitch for Jackson, an off-speed at 74 miles per hour, as I think Bragg was a little out in front of that one.
Runner at second, 1 out for Kevin Collard. Collard grounded out to first base to end the first inning. It's our 2-2. HarbourCats lead 2-0 as we play bottom of 3. Fouled back. The HarbourCats enter 4th in the league in runs scored and 2nd in the league with 80 extra base hits.
And we knew that the bats, as I said earlier in this ball game, that we knew they were going to come around. It was just a matter of when, and it appears as though they have arrived here for Victoria.
Kevin Collard takes ball 1. Collard with 5 doubles and a couple of home runs. Bend Elks come in at 12-18 overall. 0-3 in their second half, as that's fouled over the left side. And we're just about full here tonight for what we're going to be for a crowd. A healthy Friday night crowd at RAP.
And I think these fans here in Victoria have been catching wind of the hot bats the HarbourCats have been swinging, and that's being reflected in the turnout tonight, I think.
Spinning and stepping off the back of the mound.
These fans, of course, last year were treated to an excellent regular season. 40-14 were the HarbourCats, a 19-game win streak at one point.
1-2, swing and a miss, tag applied just in case. Strike 3 on Collard, back-to-back strikeouts for Jackson.
So a nice job by Jackson after the tough luck hit that he allowed to start the inning to Vansaw, and then the stolen base on a close play where Vansaw was ruled safe at second. A nice job by Jackson to not let those two things get in his head and come back with a pair of strikeouts.
The inning will now be up to Bryce Bonner, who was hit by a pitch and scored. Takes a strike.
Yeah, Bonner led off the bottom half of the second inning and it looked like the pitch that came inside just nicked him a little bit, but that's is obviously enough to give him the free pass to first base, and he did come around to score to make that hit by pitch hurt.
0-1, out in front, 0-2. Jackson enters with 21 strikeouts in 29 innings, but he already has 4 in 2 2/3 here tonight. And he's one good pitch away from striking out the side after that leadoff single.
And Jackson's done a nice job when he's been able to find the strike zone and get some swings and misses. He's been able to mix his pitches well, change speeds.
Ground ball, tap back to the mound. Jackson throws off his back foot. The throw sails a little bit, but stepping on the bag is home. 2 and the inning. That's 3 complete. The highlights keep coming. Let's go to part 1 of July 3rd action here on Go Live Broadcast as the HarbourCats lead this one 2-0. 2-0 pitch. Swung on, hit well, deep to left. That ball is over and out for Duncan Blades. 2-0 shot for Duncan Blades gets the Mavericks on the board with a 1-0 lead here in the top of the first. 2-1 pitch. Back at Russell and through for a base hit. Scoring is Bonner. Stopping at second is Bellafronto. Ethan Lopez gets the HarbourCats on the board with an RBI single. And it has not retired a batter yet. Swung on, hit well into right center field. That ball will get down for Pohao Wong. Bobbled a bit in right field. One will score. Held at third is the trailer runner Noah Pruitt. Now the ball gets away, sliding in safely. Two and two. Swung on, hit well to left, deep towards the track, the wall, the scoreboard, it's gone. Kevin Collard goes the other way for a 3-run shot. Just over at the base of the scoreboard, the HarbourCats have seized 8-3 lead.
Back here at Royal Athletic Park, Mike Edwards and Jonathan Hodgson with you for this one, a Friday night affair between the HarbourCats and the Bend Elks. Victoria currently leads 2-0, and we'll switch things up in this 4th inning with myself taking over the play-by-play duties, with John filling in with some color for the middle innings of this one. Colton Cosner, the left fielder, digs in to lead off the top of the 4th. 2-3-4 in the order for the Elks here in the inning. That one is tapped foul back to the screen. Mullins is ahead 0-2.
We threw you into the fire a little bit earlier in the season with a couple of games, taking the reins by yourself. Proved yourself exceedingly well, so more than happy to hand over the reins for a little bit.
Well, thanks, John. I certainly appreciate that, and it's certainly a great opportunity to be able to be up here for a couple innings doing play-by-play and a couple innings of color. This one's hit hard on the ground to third. Bellafronto, a nice play, gets to his feet. The throw will not be in time. A good stop at third base by Nick Bellafronto, but he never had a chance to get Cosner on that one. That was going to be a very tough play right from the outset.
That was a nice stop there by Nick Bellafronto, diving down the line at third, but the speedy Cosner was going to challenge the play from the outset, and the throw tailed it a little bit, so it was a nice job by Harrison Bragg to come off the bag and receive the throw.
So here's the second baseman, Colton Runge. He shows bunt, puts it down. Mullins will field it. He'll throw to first, and it's not in time. So a bunt for a hit for Colton Runge, and that advances Cosner to second. So the Elks, I should say, are in business here in the top of the 4th with first and second and nobody out.
Speed kills. Bend hasn't gotten a ball out of the infield in this inning. they probably hit baseballs that combined about 105 feet, and they have a couple of singles.
Yeah, John, and as we mentioned earlier in this ball game, the Elks aren't a team with much power, but they do have some good speed, and they hit for average, and they can do some damage equally well with that formula.
We'll see how Alan Embry plays this with first and second, nobody out.
Showing bunt is Nico Holm, and he pulls it back for ball one.
Holm flew out to right field to lead off the top of the second.
So Alan Embry trying to play some small ball a little bit here. Perhaps with Holm showing bunt. We'll see what he's doing here on the second pitch of the at-bat.
Corner infielders will crash.
And there's a strike. Good looking pitch by Mullins. Great catch in the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike to Nico Holm. He flew out to right field his first time up.
George Mendozona is on deck. That's who they're trying to set the inning up for.
And this becomes a big batter for Mullins. Again, showing bunt is Holm. Gets it down in front of home plate. Bryce Bonner will go to first, and it's dropped by the first baseman covering the bag, the second baseman, Nick Maroney. And that means all hands are safe.
The throw was a little bit outside the line, but still a catchable baseball there for Maroney. So a couple of infield singles and now an error on Maroney have loaded the bases with nobody out.
And it'll be George Mendozona to hit with the bases loaded and nobody out for the Elks. And they're trying to climb back into this one. The HarbourCats lead 2-0 on 2 hits and an error. The Elks have no runs on 4 hits and an error, but looking to change that here with Mendozona at the plate. First pitch is in for strike 1.
Mendozona 0 for 1 tonight with a fly ball. Enters hitting 200 in 6 games.
Colton Cosner is the runner on third. Runge on second and Holm on first for the Elks. And the 0-1. This one is through the hole for a base hit. 1 run will score. The second run is coming around. It's held up at third. And now the throw sails away from home plate. And in safely is Runge. Up to second base goes Mendozona. The throw was wild coming in from right field from Hunter Vansaw. And that allowed the second run to score. It looked initially as though it was being held up at third.
A lot going on that play. Wow. Single to Vansaw. His throw sailed on the backstop, allowing 2 runs to score. But the rebound off the hardwood backstop allowed Bryce Bonner to almost apply the tag on the trail runner Runge.
Runge, though, was able to slide in safely in front of the tag, and we have a tie ball game here at 2-2. First pitch to Flynn, missing low for ball one. Scoreboard says 1 ball and 1 strike count, excuse me.
This is Pat Flynn, who struck out his first time.
2 balls and a strike to Flynn, and a chance here for the Elks to jump in front with still nobody out and a pair of runners in scoring position. 2-1 into the center field, down for a base hit. 1 run will score, and 2 runs are going to come in to score as Mendozona slides in front of the throw home. It's a 2 RBI single for Matt Flynn. And just like that, the Bend Elks have jumped in front by a score of 4-2.
Bend stringing together 4 hits in the inning. Have been assisted by an error. 1 of the 4 runs in this inning is unearned, so 3 earned on Isaac Mullins as they now trail Bend Elks 4-2.
But as you mentioned, John, only a couple of balls have left the infield for Isaac Mullins. That was a solid base hit there, though, by Matt Flynn.
The old phrase, bloop and a blast, well, that's kind of what you're seeing here. A couple of loops and a tough break have set up the opportunity for the run scoring base hits by Mendozona and Flynn.
Swing and a miss there for Mullins. He's ahead 0-2.
This is Zach Clayton.
Clayton, the right fielder, to hit. Still nobody out in the inning as Mullins, we mentioned the issue of going deep into games for him. He's trying to fight through this inning and keep the HarbourCats going.
One thing the HarbourCats have avoided the last 8 games is the big inning. They've not surrendered big numbers, and Mullins having a tough time in a big inning here.
Fouled off down the right side, still 1-2.
Now 4 runs on 6 hits for Ben. The HarbourCats with 2 on 2.
And the HarbourCats took full advantage of the hit by pitch in the air down back in the bottom of the first inning, or the bottom of the second inning rather. This one a weak pop up behind first base. Maroney makes a nice play, tracking over to grab that one.
It's a nice play by Nick Maroney to range over from second to take that pop up. Initially looked like Harrison Bragg's baseball, but he was in a bit too far to make the play, so Maroney covered for him for the second out.
And it also looked like the sun may have been a factor as the shadows starting to creep onto the field here at Athletic Park, but the sun coming in from the third base side may have gotten in the eyes of Bragg at first base, so Maroney took charge of it. Swing and a miss on the first pitch by Mullins. This is the catcher Cal Waterman. No balls and a strike with 1 away and a runner on first. Already 4 home for Bend here in the inning. This one a fly ball to center field. Coming in is Lopez a couple of steps, and he puts it away for out number 2.
Sorry, I misspoke a moment ago. That indeed is the second out.
So Isaac Mullins looking to work his way out of this 4th inning with just the 4 runs allowed.
Important to keep the HarbourCats close. Yes, it's been a tough inning, surrendering the 4th spot, but a 4-2 game. Still very much a close ball game, still early.
Showing bunt and popping it foul is Rocco Ferrari, the third baseman.
He struck out in the 3rd inning.
And especially, John, with the way the HarbourCats have been swinging the bats, this 2-run deficit can be overcome in a hurry from Victoria's standpoint if they can get those bats going against Chris Jackson. But first Mullins trying to work his way out of the top of the 4th. Swing and a miss for strike 2. So Mullins is ahead 0-2 on Ferrari.
Both these teams have had their struggles in the bullpen this year, so it has a sense that it's a race to see who can get to the bullpen first.
Certainly could be, and whoever can do that will have a definite advantage moving forward. Pitch missed high and away from Mullins. It's 1-2.
Especially if you can get to a team's bullpen early in the first game of a 3-game series, you can change the outlook of the whole series.
Another pitch missing from Mullins. That one down and in. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ferrari at the plate, and Zach Clayton is on first. And the 2-2. That one missing for ball 3. So after jumping ahead 0-2, Mullins has thrown 3 straight balls, and Ferrari has taken all of them to run the count full. Here's the payoff pitch from Isaac Mullins. This one swung on, hit in the air to right. Ranging back is Van Saw, still back, reaching up, and makes the play. So Hunter Van Saw puts it away to end the inning, but the Bend Elks jump in front with 4 runs in the top of the 4th. They lead 4-2.
Swung on, hit well, high and deeply left center field, back to the track, to the wall. That ball is gone. Tucker Johnson flexing the muscles deep to left center field. A 2-run shot scores Tanner Rempel, and the HarbourCats are in double digits, leading 10-3. Look at second, and the pitch. Swung on, hit well to right field. That has some legs on it. Back to right, and over the head and off the wall. One will score, two will score. Gorilla into second with a 2 RBI double. 1-2. Ground ball sharply backhand side short into left field for a base hit. Held is the lead runner, but he runs through it. The relay throw is not in time. Bonner for his 6th plate appearance. Swung on, hit well.
HarbourCats find
Deep to
themselves
left.
down by
That
a pair of
ball
runs
is
after the Elks put 4 on the board in the top half. It's Ethan Lopez leading it off for the HarbourCats. And Lopez swinging away at the first pitch, a ground ball to second. Runge up with it. And that's a quick out number 1 for Chris Jackson, who after struggling to find his command a little bit in the early going, Jackson seems to have settled in here for the Elks.
Jackson has now retired 4 straight, and what you're looking for here if you're Alan Embry is a quick shutdown inning. The best way to gain momentum and maintain momentum is for a quick 1-2-3 from your starter just after you posted a big inning.
Bottom third of the order here in the 4th for Victoria. Bellafronto grounds 1 to 3rd. Ferrari up with it, and he throws across the diamond for out number 2. So Jackson continues to work quickly, and it'll be the number 9 hitter now, Nick Maroney.
So far, so good for Chris Jackson. 2 quick ground balls. The bottom third of the order has been doing a lot of damage during this 8-game streak for the HarbourCats. Not so tonight. They're 0 for 5 coming into this Maroney at bat.
Maroney takes a strike, no balls and a strike the count.
HarbourCats have left runners on in every inning tonight.
And there's strike 2. So quickly ahead is Chris Jackson of Nick Maroney. And the 0-2 pitch. Swung on, hit foul down the right side. Right down by the HarbourCats bullpen. Maroney made good contact, but just pushed it foul. 4-2, the Elks lead the HarbourCats here in the bottom of the 4th inning. And another 0-2 pitch on the way. Swing and a miss, strike 3 in the dirt. Waterman will throw to first base to complete the strikeout. And that's a good quick inning for Chris Jackson, getting his team back in the dugout. They lead 4-2 on Go Live broadcasts. To the Bend Elks lead the Victoria HarbourCats as we head to the 5th inning of this one. Mike Edwards and Jonathan Hodgson with you for the call. The first of 3 between the HarbourCats and the Elks, a weekend set here in Victoria. The HarbourCats coming in, winners of 8 in a row, but that in a little bit of jeopardy here as we head towards the second half of this ball game. The top of the order is due up here in the top of the 5th inning for the Elks. Derek Chapman, the left fielder, or I should say the center fielder, will lead it off. Isaac Mullins back out there for the HarbourCats. Gave up 4 runs, 3 of them earned in the last time he was on the mound in the top of the 4th. So he'll look to settle back in here. This one's lined in the left field and dropping for a base hit. Stopping at first base is Chapman. That's a single to lead off the top of the 5th for the Elks.
Bend getting their swings in now against Isaac Mullins. They pushed across 4 runs on 4 hits in the 4th inning, and they get a leadoff single here in the 5th from Derek Chapman. Now 7 hits total.
So it'll be Colton Cosner, the left fielder now, with a runner on first and nobody out. Showing bunt and taking strike 1. Interesting approach here by plenty of these Elks hitters, showing bunt on the first pitch. And John, do you think, as we have made a pretty big deal of this managing matchup between Brian McRae and Alan Embry, as Mullins delivers a foul tip for strike 2. John, do you think the approach to managing their clubs is different from the different perspective that Embry has as a major league pitcher compared to McRae as a position player?
There's definitely going to be differences in the mindsets, but I think the amount of small ball influence you've seen early in this game for Bend probably has more to do with the fact that they know they're not laden with power and offensive talent, so they know they have to manufacture runs. Coming in hitting under 250 as a team with 58 extra base hits, which is near the bottom of the West Coast League.
1 ball and 2 strikes the count, and fouled off by Cosner to stay alive. Still 1-2.
Cosner led off the 4th with an infield single. First of 2 infield singles that started and set the stage for that 4-run 4th.
Another 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. High off-speed pitch, got it by Cosner, and that's a strikeout for Mullins for out number 1.
Strikeout number 4 for Mullins today.
So here is Colin Runge, the second baseman. First pitch to Runge misses in tight. 1 ball and no strikes. Runge came around to score on the errant throw from Hunter Vansaw in right field back in the top of the 4th inning. This one is swung on and drilled through the hole between first and second. Stopping at second base is Derek Chapman. And another hit here in the inning for the Elks. They appear to be seeing the ball quite well out of Mullins' hand in the last couple innings.
Yeah, Mullins isn't fooling anybody at this point, so he's going to have to get creative with his approach.
And we know...
Try to give Ben some different looks and get them off of his fastball right now.
Sorry, John, but we know that Mullins isn't going to be a guy who overpowers you at the plate with his velocity, so he's going to have to throw strikes, and he's going to have to find his spots. And in the last couple innings, he hasn't done as good of a job as he did in the first couple frames. Shut out the Elks through the first 3, gave up the 4 spot in the 4th. First pitch is popped up foul. Bragg over towards the side, and it gets out of play. No balls and 1 strike the count on the first baseman, Nico Holm. No balls and a strike, and the pitch. In the dirt, good block by Bonner to keep the runners where they are. 1 ball and a strike.
In Isaac's first 3 starts, he went 5 innings, and 6 innings, giving up 1 earned run every time. His last 2 starts, he's gone 3 innings and 3 2/3.
This one is hit into center field. Ethan Lopez charging. He dives and makes the catch. What a play in center by Ethan Lopez. And that's becoming a habit for him, making highlight reel plays in center field. This one he tracked down on a hard sinking liner.
Great first read on that play for Ethan Lopez, breaking in right away. And honestly, before the ball was in his glove, I was marking out on my scorecard. That's about the third or fourth time we've seen that already from Ethan.
Well, you got to give the man a chance, John. What we've seen from Lopez in center field, the play at the wall, robbing a home run a couple weeks back. This one is grounded to second. Nick Maroney throws to first, and that's the inning. So Ethan Lopez helps out his pitcher, Isaac Mullins, to get out of the top of the fifth. It's 4-2 HarbourCats. The second half of the July 3rd highlights are coming your way next during the inning break.
Broadcast is July 7. That swung on and hit well. That ball will go for Tanner Rimple. The 0-2 pitch is lined up the middle, a base hit. One will score. Trail runner is sent. The throw is offline. Two will score on the RBI single. Payoff pitch, swing and a miss, strike three. Mavericks get 2 in the top of the 12th, and that will end the game. 15-6, the final. HarbourCats win this non-league game. They are on the road the next 3 days, starting tomorrow in Kelowna, and they return for our next regular season action on Go Live broadcast July 7 to 9. Against the Bend Elks. Final score today, 15-6. 6 runs on 9 hits for the Mavericks, 15 on 18 with 1 error for the HarbourCats.
Home half of the 5th inning, led off by Harry Shipley, signaling the top of the order for the HarbourCats. They trail by 2 as they come to the plate, trying to erase that deficit here against Chris Jackson. And Jackson fires a strike into Shipley on the first pitch. Jackson made quick work of the HarbourCats, didn't he, John, the last time out in the bottom half of the 4th?
1-2-3 in the 4th inning with a strikeout on 8 pitches. And it's important for the HarbourCats bats to not let Jackson fully settle in here, as he has retired 6 in a row after the HarbourCats have fallen behind.
I think Harry Shipley felt that he might have been clipped by that pitch, but wasn't given first base by the home plate umpire. That one misses outside, 3-1. So a hitter's count for Shipley. We'll see if he is swinging away with the green light or if he's trying to take to walk to first base. This one hit on the ground to short. Mendozona comes up with it, and a good strong throw gets Shipley for out number 1.
Nice play by George Mendozona at short. Good job by Chris Jackson to get the out after falling behind 3-1 on Shipley.
And Mendozona made the error covering the bag at second base that allowed the HarbourCats to score 2 runs, or following the error, 2 runs following the error in the home half of the 2nd inning, but Mendozona has since made a couple of nice defensive plays to make up for it. There's a strike as DJ Porter was showing bunt but pulled it back. Porter the DH tonight for Victoria. And that one comes in tight. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Jackson walked 2 batters in the 1st inning, but hasn't walked anybody since then, and has racked up 5 strikeouts.
2 balls and a strike to Porter. And the pitch from Jackson. A little bloop into center field, and that's going to hang up for the center fielder, Derek Chapman. So Porter is retired. 2 quick outs once again for Chris Jackson, and I believe he has retired, what is that now, 7 in a row?
That's 8 in a row after the Porter fly ball. That sounded like that got in on Porter and may have cracked his bat, resulting in the easy play for Chapman.
So Hunter Van Saw will hit with nobody on and 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th inning. It's well outside on the first pitch from Jackson. And this is the situation you want to be facing the HarbourCats' number 3 hitter, Hunter Vansaw, considering the series he had in Kelowna with 2 outs and the base is empty. Outside once again, 2-0.
Vansaw has 3 home runs on the year. 2 of them came in the series at Kelowna.
And the 2-0, swing and a miss, strike 1. 84 on the gun from Jackson. As Harrison Bragg waits on deck, should Vansaw reach here with 2 outs. Two and 1. Another swing and a miss by Vansaw, an off-speed pitch at 75 from Chris Jackson, and Vansaw was well out in front.
Both these pitchers similar styles, mid-80s, relying on changing speeds, and right now Chris Jackson is in a groove right now.
2-2. And grounded weakly foul over by the on-deck circle. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes.
This is an important game already for Bend. They're 0-3 in their second half. They cannot afford to fall too far behind in a 27-game half.
Another 2-2 pitch missing off the plate. Counts full at 3-2.
Good at bat here by Vansaw. The HarbourCats have been going quickly the last time through the order. So good to see a long at bat, and you never know, never out of a game when Harrison Bragg's on deck.
And Bragg is going to get a chance to hit here in the inning with Vansaw drawing the walk on the full count. So Bragg representing the tying run, and with all the power he has, certainly plants a seed in the mind of the pitcher Jackson.
3 walks now issued by Jackson. That's the first he has issued since the first inning, so he's been better at it. But that walk, the second of the day to Vansaw, creates the opportunity for Harrison Bragg. Bragg is 0 for 2 today.
Bragg swinging away at the first pitch. Ferrari up with it at third. It goes the short way to second to get Vansaw, and that's out number 3. So the HarbourCats get a 2-out walk, but nothing more here in the 5th inning. They still trail 4-2 on Go Live broadcasts.
Just about set for the top of the 6th inning. 4-2, the Bend Elks lead the Victoria HarbourCats here on Go Live broadcast. Jonathan Hodson, Mike Edwards with you. Isaac Mullins returns for his 6th inning of work, as stepping in to lead off the 6th inning is Pat Flynn.
And it's interesting, John, how these 2 starters have kind of flip-flopped a little bit. Early in the game, to start the night, it was Mullins looking very strong. And on the other side, Chris Jackson seemed to struggle with his command in the first couple frames. But the last couple innings, it's been reversed. It's been Jackson who appears to have found his best stuff, while Mullins has battled it a little bit on the mound.
Mullins Gave up 4 runs on 4 hits, 3 earned runs in the 4th inning.
And
Gave
even
up 2 more hits in the 5th inning, as Bend is certainly looking comfortable at the dish right now.
Sorry, John, even in that 5th inning, as you were just alluding to, he got hit hard a little bit with Lopez needing to make that diving catch to avoid any run scoring.
1-2 pitch is flown to right field. That has something on it, to the track, to the wall. Reaching up and making the play is Hunter Vansaw. Hunter Vansaw is the latest HarbourCat outfielder to make a highlight catch.
And this is becoming a normal thing for the HarbourCats, as we saw DJ Porter in right field bring one back. Riley Zajac in left field a couple weeks ago brought one back, and Ethan Lopez with one of the plays of the year in center bringing one back. This time it's Hunter Vansaw's turn, tracking that one down.
On the last homestand made a diving play as well. That ball is singled into right field off the bat of Zach Clayton. And the throw airmails everybody and will hit off a bucket, which was by the dugout fencing. Moving up to second base on the throwing error is Zach Clayton, so it'll be a single and a throwing error.
And that'll be the second throwing error charged to Vansaw tonight. That's certainly not what the HarbourCats are accustomed to seeing from him in right field. One of them allowed a run to score back in the 4th inning. The runner at third, Dylan, or I believe it was Runge at third base, was held up, but when the throw sailed past the plate, he came in to score.
Runner at second, 1 out for Cal Waterman. Waterman takes ball 1, so 2 errors tonight charged to the HarbourCats. This game has seen a little bit of everything. Swung on, bloop to left center field, dying quickly, gets down for a base hit. Lopez thinks about third, goes to the middle of the infield. A single for Cal Waterman.
And probably a smart throw decision there by Lopez to just throw it into the cutoff man. No need to challenge the runner heading to third. But runners on the corners now with still 1 out for the Elks as they look to add to their lead.
This is third baseman Rocco Ferrari. He is 0 for 2 on his day. 10 hits on the game now for Bend. 8 of them in the last 2 1/3. Bunt is past the right side of the mound. Mullins picks up, goes to first, a low flip, but Bragg fields it. Squeeze play, scores Zach Clayton from third base.
Yeah, well executed. As we mentioned before, the small ball is working for the Elks here tonight. Another well executed play with the suicide squeeze, a good bunt put down that allowed the runner to come in easily from third base. And now another chance with a 2-out hit to add to the lead for the Elks with a runner on second.
Runner at second, 2 outs. Top of the order is Derek Chapman. 5-2, the Bend Elks now lead. Bouncing in, Bonner does a good job, but his throw will go into center field. And moving up to third is Cal Waterman. A couple of times in this inning, Mike, you've seen the HarbourCats overzealous defensively with that Vansaw throw in there with Bonner.
Yeah, maybe a little pumped up, getting a little extra juice on the throws, but that one from Bonner split the 2 middle infielders going to cover the bag. And that one probably, I think, Bonner would like to have back.
Runner at third now, 2 outs. The count is 1-0 on Chapman. 3 errors charged to the HarbourCats.
I think it's safe to say Mullins hasn't had his best stuff with him tonight, but the HarbourCats defensively haven't helped him out a whole lot.
Swing and a miss. Certainly not. There's been a lot of miscues on multiple sides tonight. Mullins having to battle, not with his best stuff tonight. Bend getting their swings in, but like you said, there's been a couple of cases where Mullins has needed a little bit more help behind him. Swing and a miss, 1-2 on Chapman. 1 good pitch away from getting through this top of the 6th inning. that has seen the Bend Elks score one more to take a 5-2 lead.
HarbourCats have a left-hander up and throwing in the bullpen, so this is most likely Mullins' last frame.
1-2. Fouled over the left side.
That foul ball brought to you by First Response Glass. Hassle-free First Response Glass.
Isaac Mullins, if he's able to retire Chapman, will go 6 innings. And that's a key stat for the HarbourCats, which we'll get into later in the night. Upstairs, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Cal Waterman's still over there at third base and just 90 feet from home with 2 outs and 2 strikes on the hitter at the plate. You know that Alan Embry would love to get that insurance run in.
Mullins having some communications mishaps with Bonner before this 2-2 pitch. Want to make sure that you know what you're doing. 2-2 upstairs. Count runs full. 3-2 with 2. They go to third base. No sir.
Mullins does have the base open at first if he would like to use it here on 3-2.
Crowd getting into it.
Yeah, the camera just shut off. I'm not sure why. Turning it back on. I got
3-2 with 2. Is lined up the middle. A base hit for Derek Chapman. That will bring in Waterman from third. And there is that add-on run for Bend. They now lead 6-2.
And those runs are exceedingly important for the Elks, especially with knowing the hot bats the HarbourCats have been swinging coming into tonight. They need as much insurance as they can get, but already 11 hits for them on the night.
That's another unearned run against Mullins. First pitch is high, ball 1 to Colton Cosner. Cosner 1 for 3. As you mentioned, a bullpen arm is up. Hoping to get Mullins through 6 innings tonight. Missing. And Bonner will now go out to talk to Mullins, who looks to be kicking the dirt around a little bit. Probably not in the best head frame right now.
Yeah, Mullins, I think a good decision for Bonner to come out and settle down his pitcher. Mike Spears, the pitching coach, will come out to join them. Mullins looking just for that one more out to get through the 6th. And again, as we alluded to earlier in the broadcast, Mullins has gone 6 just one time in his 5 starts this year, so the HarbourCats trying to get him to that milestone here tonight.
Spears departs, and the at-bat of Cosner will continue. The count is 2 balls and no strikes. 2 more runs have scored as we play in the top of the 6th inning, with the Bend Elks leading 6-2. Called strike 1. The Bend Elks trying to snap their own 3-game losing streak, and they're trying to end the HarbourCats' 8-game win streak.
And a good pitch by Mullins right out of the mound visit to get back in the count here at 2-1.
2-1. Swing and a miss on a changeup. It looked like 2-2.
So it looks like whatever was said out there on the mound by Bonner or Spears has settled Mullins down. Still needs that one more good pitch to get the final out here in the 6th, though.
2-2 pitch. Misses for ball 3. So Spears' message may have had something to do with stop trying so hard, because we saw Mullins take a little bit off and deliver a couple straight strikes. But here's a big pitch. 3-2 with 2. The runner will be off, and it's ball 4.
So Mullins does indeed lose the hitter Cosner. It's the 2nd consecutive walk surrendered, and so 2 on and 2 out now for the Elks, with the number 3 hitter Runge coming to the plate.
Colin Runge has 2 hits tonight.
And this is Mullins' inning to finish, so Brian McRae doesn't want to have to go to his pen here in the 6th inning. He wants Mullins to go 6.
Swung on, fly ball left field, not deep, coming in. Collard makes the play, and that will end the top of the 6th inning. 2 more runs on 3 hits. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. The Bend Elks lead the HarbourCats 6-2 here on Go Live Broadcast. Bottom of the 6th inning, 6-2 for the Bend Elks. Jonathan Hudson and Mike Edwards on the call. The HarbourCats limited to 2 runs on 2 hits so far tonight against Chris Jackson, who returns for his 6th inning work. First pitch, ball 1 to Kevin Collard.
And Jackson seems to have gotten stronger as the game's gone on, so the HarbourCats trying to work their way into the Elks bullpen.
Line down the left field line, dying quickly, but stays up for Cosner in left field for the first out.
Good jump by Cosner in left field, getting to that one. Just off the end of the bat, I believe, of Collard.
1 down for Bryce Bonner. Bonner committed a throwing error behind the plate last half inning. At the plate, he is 0 for 1.
And it's going to be important for the HarbourCats here in the 6th to, at the very least, make Jackson work a little bit and tire him out to get him out of the ballgame sooner rather than later.
Fouled down. Jackson is definitely very comfortable right now. He has retired 10 of his last 11 going back to the 3rd inning. There was a time in this game where it looked like the HarbourCats had him on the ropes, but that has turned around as Jackson has settled in and Mullins was unable to settle back in the middle innings, missing inside for ball 1.
Yeah, and just the 2 hits allowed for Jackson through 5 1/3, and 1 of the 2 runs is earned.
Swung on and missed. Bonner not happy with himself on that swing. 1 and 2. One-two pitch, bouncing in, blocked by Waterman. Action continues in the bullpen, so it looks like Isaac Mullins' day will be done after 6.
Some activity as well down there on the left field side in the Bend bullpen too. And as time is called at the plate, we mentioned that the bullpens are more of a weak point, you would say, on both of these teams.
Ground ball foul.
And it just the 4-run margin in the lead for Bend. This one's still anyone's game once you get into the bullpen. The HarbourCats trying to get Jackson out of this game as quickly as they can.
Deuces. Strike 3 called on Bryce Bonner. That is another strikeout number 6 for Jackson.
So 2 quick outs here for Jackson to start the 6th inning. It'll be Lopez to hit with the bases empty.
2 quick outs. be a fly ball and strikeout. Here is Ethan Lopez. He is 0 for 2. He reached on an error in the second and came around to score.
Also made that spectacular diving catch coming in from center field.
Ball 2. The HarbourCats led this game 2-0 after 2. But 12 of their last 13 have been set down. And Lopez breaks it up a little bit with a single to left. Lopez now 1 for 3.
Nice piece of hitting there for Lopez. Good opposite field approach and just staying on that pitch and stroking it through the hole between third and short.
This is Nick Bellafronto, 0 for 2. Bend has done damage tonight with 2 outs. The HarbourCats now trying to do the same. Strike 1.
Bellafronto, a part of a bit of a, you could say it's a platoon situation for Brian McRae at third base after Davis Wenzel unfortunately suffered an injury. We've seen Noah Pruitt over there at third, Bellafronto, Cole Weiss, who can play all over the infield. He's been at third base. Bryce Bonner as well, who's behind the plate tonight, has played some third.
A lot of options at a lot of different spots still. Check swing. He went around, says the white umpire. Strike 2 on Bellafronto. That draws the ire of some umpires in the stands.
And I think what Bellafronto would be displeased at is why don't you use your first base umpire and ask the appeal down to first?
That's exactly right. 1 and 2. Strike 3 called. 2 more strikeouts for Chris Jackson, and he is cruising. 6 complete here on Go Live Broadcast. We go to the 7th, 6-2 end. Go to the 7th inning here at Royal Athletic Park on a Friday night. 6-2 the visitors lead right now, and the HarbourCats are going to the bullpen for the first time tonight. Mike Edwards has the name and numbers.
Matt Kent is the new pitcher for the HarbourCats, a big righty standing at 6'6", 185 pounds from Fort Wayne, Texas. Kent headed for his junior season at Xavier. That one was lashed foul into the seats. Kent on the season is off to a bit of a rocky start with the HarbourCats. In 4 appearances, has an 11.57 ERA, trying to whittle that down.
Count is now 0-2 on Nico Holm. The first baseman and 4-hitter is 0 for 3.
It was a good breaking pitch by Kent there, dropping in for a strike. In 7 innings on the season, he has surrendered 7 walks and 14 hits to only 3 strikeouts.
bit of a surprise for the HarbourCats. The struggles of Matt Kent early this year, as he came to the HarbourCats as a heralded relief pitcher from Xavier, had a 1.28 ERA as a sophomore, as one of their lead inning men. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, absolutely. And you would expect Kent to settle in here in the second half and really be an important member of the bullpen.
1-2 is ball 2.
And in that bullpen, we know Travis Kuhn, as great as he has been, is locked in the closer role. But beyond him, there aren't really too many guys that have defined roles down there. So Brian McRae still looking to have some guys step up and take over some key roles out of the pen.
Q down the first base line. It stays fair, so Harrison Bragg will take it to the bag for the first out.
That one got in on the hands of the hitter. Good pitch, or good location on the pitch by Kent.
Matt Kent in his last 2 appearances, 4 2/3 innings combined, 1 run allowed. Most of the damage, in his fairness, came in 1 appearance against Corvallis, allowing 8 earned runs in an inning and 2/3. Ball 1 to George Mendozona. Mendozona delivered a 2 RBI single in the 4th inning. Swing and a miss. The HarbourCats have some core arms in the late end of the pen. You mentioned Kuhn, the closer. Indigo Diaz has been rounding into form. Taylor Procopas has been very good. Missing for ball 2. It's just the ability of the starters to get it straight to those guys. Set for 2-1, missing inside 3-1.
And John, since that 8-run appearance charged to Kent, 8 earned runs back on June 21st against Corvallis, Kent has, in his last 2 appearances, gone a combined 4 2/3 innings, allowing just 1 run. So he appears to have righted the ship.
3-1 is lined to center field. That will get down for a base hit in front of Lopez. A 1-out single for George Mendozona, his 2nd hit of the day.
Good piece of hitting there from Mendozona. Going right back up the middle into center.
That'll bring in Pat Flynn, who is 1 for 3 with a couple of RBIs. Bend now out hitting the HarbourCats 12-3. Called strike 1. Remains a beautiful night here in Victoria. Mainly sunny overhead. The sun fading behind the third base side. Shadows beginning to grow across the playing field.
Yeah, and into the second half of the season, we'd expect...
Ground ball back past the mound. Second base, Maroney to the bag at second. Turn back to first, a double play. 4-6-3, Maroney, Shipley, Bragg, and Kent is through a scoreless 7th inning. We go to the stretch here in Victoria. Bend Elks still lead on Go Live Broadcast, 6-2. standing stretch in the middle of the 7th. They haven't done much of that during the game for a while, as the HarbourCats still trail 6-2. Jonathan Hodgson and Mike Edwards with you for Go Live broadcast. The hitter is Nick Maroney, leading off the bottom of the 7th. Outside for ball 1-2, Maroney. Still Chris Jackson on the mound for Bend. Ground ball over, no, not over the head. Gloved at third, one hop throw is taken at first base, and staying on the bag is home. Brian McCray will come out to talk about that. But my oh my, what a play on both ends.
Well, what a play it was by Ferrari at third base. He stands at around 5'9". That one was a high chopper. It looked like it was going over his head, but he leaped and brought it in. And then the throw was a bit of a wild one, but a nice job by Holm over there at first to track it down, get it in his glove, and then reach his foot out to make contact with the bag for the first out.
Top of the order for Harry Shipley, who is 1 for 2 with a walk.
And Chris Jackson has done a really nice job against this HarbourCats lineup. The last time they got on the board, the HarbourCats, was thanks to a Shipley 2-out, 2 RBI single back in the 2nd inning. Since then, it's been all zeros put on the board by Jackson.
And both runs against Jackson tonight are honored. That one skied to left center field. Now the left fielder, Cosner, takes charge for out number 2. The HarbourCats continue to go quickly against Jackson. Jackson had a bit of a tough time last time out against the Port Angeles lefties, but is returning to form in a big way tonight. This is DJ Porter, 0 for 3.
And Jackson has been one of the more consistent arms for Bend all season long. That performance last time out was an uncharacteristic one for him against Port Angeles, but showing tonight that he's capable of bouncing back.
Ground ball, second base, sliding over and making the throw is Runge, and the HarbourCats go 1-2-3 again. So we go to the 8th with the score remaining 6-2 Bend here on Go Live broadcast. Ball game moving right along as we reach the top of the 8th inning at 8:22 local time. 6-2 the Bend Elks lead, and they have gone to their bench as we lead off the top of the 8th.
It has been a fast-moving ball game here tonight, the first of a 3-game series with the HarbourCats and the Elks. 6 runs on 12 hits and an error for Bend, 2 runs on 3 hits and 3 errors for the HarbourCats.
Jordan Sunage is the pinch hitter, taking high ball 1 from Matt Kent, who is into his 2nd inning of work. Mike, you gotta like what you've seen so far from Matt Kent tonight.
Yeah, he looks good. He looks like he's commanding his pitches.
Ground ball, first base, knocked down by Bright, flip to Kent, 1 down.
And as you mentioned, John, I think that one outing against Corvallis really sunk him in terms of his numbers, but in his other appearances, Kent has looked quite good, and again, he's a guy who was highly touted, recruit by the HarbourCats coming out of Xavier, a big member of their pen, and Kent is going to be relied upon for sure for the HarbourCats, and Brian McRae out of the bullpen in the second half.
With one out, it'll be Cal Waterman. Foul tipped on the first pitch. Waterman 1 for 3. HarbourCats running out of time, trailing 6-2 in the 8th inning. 8-game win streak is on the line. Oh, 1. Outside, this 8-game win streak is the 3rd longest win streak in franchise history, and a win tonight would tie it for the 2nd longest.
And of course, the longest win streak in HarbourCats history and in West Coast League history came last season, a 19-gamer by the HarbourCats en route to a 40-14 campaign.
1-1 pitch outside.
But that win streak in jeopardy here tonight, as you mentioned, John, down 6-2. HarbourCats with 6 more outs to play with to try to make up those 4 runs.
6 runs on 12 hits and an error for Bend. 2, 3, and 3 for the HarbourCats. Called strike 2. Matt Kent has faced 4 hitters and has induced a double play ball, giving up 1 hit in the 7th, but working a 1-2-3 inning with that double play ball. Deuces here to Waterman. Ball 3.
And I think, John, one thing that will work to the HarbourCats' advantage here through the remainder of this one is that they're coming off a series in Kelowna where they had a lot of big innings, and that's really what fueled their offense. So the HarbourCats just need 1 big inning here, and they're right back in it.
3-2 is outside, ball 4, and if the HarbourCats get it close, get it to within a run or 2 heading into the bottom of the 9th, Bend is without their closer for this series. Bend had a couple of players unable to come to Victoria because of passport issues. So a technicality producing a bit of a hole in Bend's pitching depth.
It's a good point, and it's certainly one the HarbourCats should try to take advantage of, but in order to do that, they're going to need to whittle the deficit down a little bit more than the 4 runs.
The 1-out walk brings in Rocco Ferrari. He's 0 for 2 with a squeeze sac bunt RBI.
We've seen some well-executed small ball from Alan Embry's club tonight.
Roll over. A little bit off the bag for Bragg. That is Khalil Rivera, who is unable to join the Elks on this series. Set for 1-0. Called strike. So it's tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday for this series. Tomorrow's game goes at 6:35. Sunday on getaway day for Bend is at 1:05. The HarbourCats will have Adam McKillican on the mound tomorrow night. 1-1 pitch is ball 2.
And McKillican is a guy who has been a very pleasant surprise for the HarbourCats. They are always thrilled to see his turn come around in the rotation. In 4 starts this season, has a 1.63 ERA, 17 strikeouts in 33 innings, just 6 walks and 29 hits allowed.
Runner goes back to the mound. Only 1 play. Kent will get the out at first. So the hit and run keeps the Bend Elks out of the double play. Runner at second, 2 outs.
And just to wrap that thought on McKillican, we'll get the ball tomorrow night as the HarbourCats will either be looking to bounce back after dropping the first game or looking to take the first 2 games of the series. A native of Courtenay, British Columbia, and goes to UBC, so McKillican, a local product, and he has been a great story so far for the HarbourCats.
Derek Chapman takes strike 1. Chapman having a good day, 3 for 4 with an RBI.
And Chapman's done a really nice job atop the order here for Bend, setting the table for their big bats to follow him.
Top 3 hitters in Ben's lineup tonight have combined for 6 hits. Bouncing in, good job. Bonner keeps it in front. Finishing up on McKillican. He's tied with a number of pitchers right now for second in the league with 4 wins. A guy who is not looked upon as the go-to guy coming into the year, but he's proven himself and earned his way into that status. The 1-1 pitch outside, 2-1. You can look and analyze your roster coming into the year and set guys you think are going to be key, but there's always inevitably going to be guys that don't pan out, and hopefully there's going to be 1 or 2 surprises. Outside, 3-1.
Yeah, John, that's a good point, and you never know. It's the nature of the beast with summer collegiate ball. Some guys they come in and for whatever reason they can't adjust to their summer collegiate clubs, and some guys they thrive in this environment. So McKillican has been one of those, and the HarbourCats will be looking for another quality outing from him tomorrow night.
3-1 pitch, fouled towards the on-deck hitters. 3-2 counts. It's all full now. 3-2 with 2. The runner Waterman at second base. We play in the top of the 8th inning. The Bend Elks leading the HarbourCats 6-2. Good crowd tonight, and they've been energetic throughout. 3-2 has popped up left field. That has some depth on it, but will settle before the track. Kevin Collard puts it away. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning with the Bend Elks leading 6-2 here on Go Live Broadcast.
There's your winner. If that is you, Welcome back to Royal Athletic Park in Victoria. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning with the hometown HarbourCats still trailing the Bend Elks 6-2. Jonathan Hodson and Mike Edwards with you in the booth for this one. And right-hander Chris Jackson returns for the Bend Elks, dealing ball 1 to Hunter Van Saw.
This is the longest outing of the season for Chris Jackson. He's put in a very good start for these Elks, who are trying to, as you mentioned, halt their losing streak and get on the board with a win in that win column for the first time in the second half.
Van Saw takes ball 2. Hunter Van Saw has walked twice tonight and singled his way on. Called strike, 2-1. In the inning, 3-4-5, Van Saw, Bragg, and Collard. The trio has 1 hit between them. Ground ball, second base, backhand play, scooped and thrown
one down. Nice play there by Runge.
And another instance of Jackson starting an inning with a quick first out. And it's a simple recipe, getting ahead both in the count and in the inning with getting that leadoff hitter retired. And once again, Jackson's able to do it here in the 8th. Just 5 more outs for the Elks to secure the win here in Game 1.
Harrison Bragg steps in 0 for 3. The HarbourCats were collecting hits and runs in bunches in Kelowna, as that one is a soft fly ball to center field. Coming in, sliding and making the play is Derek Chapman. How about that from Derek Chapman, making the catch in style?
He was hustling in from center field at full speed and slid to the knee to make the catch. A great effort by Jackson. We've seen both teams pick the ball around a little bit tonight. That was more so in the early innings, but lately we've seen some great defensive plays as well. A nice double play turn by the HarbourCats a couple innings ago. That play by Chapman, and then the play by Lopez, of course, diving in center field.
2 outs for Kevin Collard, who swings and misses. The HarbourCats, after the 3rd inning, only have 1 hit off Jackson.
And of course, John, to add to that, we can't forget the play made by Vansaw in right field, reaching up at the wall and bringing what looked like a ball that had home run distance on it back into the ballpark.
1-1, line to left, a base hit. Kevin Collard gets himself on the board and gives the HarbourCats a 2-out runner. Last time the HarbourCats had a base hit, it was a 2-out single by Lopez in the 6th inning. That's great, but when you're being held down and runners are at a premium, two-out rallies can be tough to produce.
Well, they can. It looks like the pitching coach for the Elks is out to talk to Jackson. We'll see if this is perhaps a tactic to stall for time, to give their bullpen some more time to warm up, or if they want Jackson to work through the rest of this 8th inning. He does have 2 outs quickly on the board, so you'd expect this to be Jackson's inning.
At this point, he's been economical, and yes, they do leave him. He's been economical all night long. He's got 2 outs in the 8th inning. You've got every reason to leave him out there to try to complete at least 8. And as the pitching coach returns back to the dugout, we see the universal hat signal down to the bullpen, so the bullpen appears to be ready as Bryce Bonner takes strike 1.
Good breaking ball there by Jackson at 72 miles per hour, coming back to catch the plate.
Check swing, did he go? No sir, they say at first base.
And that breaking ball has really been a good pitch for Jackson. It's kept the HarbourCats hitters off balance all night long.
7 strikeouts against 3 walks tonight. Runner goes. Pitches a strike. The throw is a bit high. The tag is not in time, so Kevin Collard steals second base.
Perhaps a bit of an element of surprise there for Collard, not someone noted for his speed, more of a power guy at the plate, but on the base paths, showing off his wheels there and swiping second.
Count is 1-2 on Bonner with 2 outs here in the 8th.
HarbourCats trying to inch closer here in the bottom of the 8th with a 2-out, 2-strike hit from Bonner.
The 1-2, check swing again. Did he go? No sir, again at first base. Count falls to 2-2.
From up here, that one looked awfully close. Bonner was just able to hold up.
The 2 runs tonight are unearned against Chris Jackson in his longest appearance of the year, trying to go 8 innings for the first time this year. Deuces to Bonner. Swung on, chopper to short, charging it, and throwing on to first is Mendozona. And the HarbourCats will strand Kevin Collard at second base. We go to the 9th. The Bend Elks still leading 6-2 here on Go Live Broadcast. We go to the top of the 9th inning, 6-2. The Bend Elks have led this game ever since the 6th inning. The HarbourCats have gone to the bullpen, missing inside ball 1. Colton Kalsner is the hitter. Mike Edwards will introduce us to the new left-hander.
Well, it's Claire Eccles, the UBC product, the left-handed knuckleballer on the mound.
Swing and a miss.
Eccles out of Surrey, BC. On the season this year, he posts a 9.00 ERA in 3 appearances. Has
swung on, that'll be a base hit into right center field. Over to cut it off in right field is Vansaw. Now the throw to second, the close play, he is safe at second. That ball ended up fairly deep in right center field. A long run for Vansaw to cut it off. And pushing the issue was Kalsner, and he ends up with the double.
And we've seen a couple of wild throws from Vansaw. That one was a good one, a good strong throw coming in, trying to dig it out of the gap and prevent the extra base hit, but it just wasn't quite in time.
13 hits now for Bend, called strike 1 on Colin Runge. Eccles, the third arm of the night for the HarbourCats. Swing and a miss, 0-2.
And that knuckleball clocking in at 67 miles per hour.
Eccles features 3 pitches. Her changeup acts more like her knuckleball acts more like her changeup, is how she uses it in her arsenal. Runner goes for third. The pitch is inside in the dirt. Stealing third base uncontested is Kalsner.
And they're going to say that hit Runge as well, so he'll get first on the hit by pitch.
And because it was a hit by pitch and a dead ball, going back to second is Kalsner.
So you might say that could be considered a break for Eccles and the HarbourCats, with the runner being forced to go back to second base. Of course, it does put a runner on first. But Eccles trying to work through the top of the 9th inning, keeping this scoreline at 6-2.
Top of the 9th, a double and a hit by pitch have led off the inning. Nico Holm is the pitcher, or is the hitter, taking ball 1. Eccles has fared well when she's been in the zone. That's the case with most of the arms. Both runners take huge leads and will take second and third uncontested, and you can see that one coming with the leads the runners were taking.
You could. Eccles was a little slow to the plate on that one. I think if she had looked up and seen the runners going, she might have been able to pick them off, but she was committed to her delivery.
Second and third now. The count is now 2-1.
But I think the runners on that went a little prematurely. You saw both of them get a good jump, but then stop because Eccles hadn't delivered the ball home yet. but still able to successfully steal second and third.
Running inside and hitting Nico home. So Claire Eccles a little bit wild so far in this top of the ninth. The bases are loaded with nobody out.
And that's been a consistent thing for Eccles when she throws strikes in her appearances so far this season. She's been very effective getting swings and misses. The knuckleball dances around, and it's difficult to hit even at the velocity being in the mid-60s. The biggest challenge for Eccles hasn't been when she's throwing balls in the strike zone. It's been when she's been a little off with her command, as she has been tonight, and that's when she's gotten into the most trouble.
And that's been a simple theme for the entire pitching staff, hammered home by Mike Spears. The HarbourCats have issued the third fewest walks of any pitching staff in the West Coast League. So we're reset for action. George Mendozona takes ball one with the bases loaded, nobody out. Top of the ninth. HarbourCats trailing 6-2. Missing inside, 2-0.
HarbourCats do have a big ninth inning comeback on their season so far. They scored 6 runs back on June 29th against the Cowlitz Black Bears in the ninth inning to walk off 12-11.
Ball 3, nowhere to put him. 3-0 with the bases loaded. Mendozona has 2 hits today already. Is a strike. You mentioned the dramatic comeback the HarbourCats have on their resume already. Bend trying to put as much distance as they can between them. Fly ball left field line, curving foul, long run in left for Collard. It gets down foul in the bullpen. So Eccles now has a full count, 3-2.
A nice job by Eccles to come back and even the count. So a chance here to try to get an out at the plate to keep the runners where they are. HarbourCats, as we mentioned, with that comeback against Cowlitz in the ninth inning, it can be done, but they need to stay close here.
3-2 will flutter just high. Ball 4 to George Mendozona will walk in Cosner from third. 7-2.
Not a popular call here at Royal Athletic Park, but one that was ruled just high on a knuckleball that Eccles was trying to bring down to the top edge of the strike zone, just missing above the zone.
Still nobody out. Pat Flynn pops it up a mile high up the middle. Shortstop Shipley will make the play for the first out.
Good bounce back pitch by Eccles, getting the weak contact pop up, and that holds everyone where they are on the base paths.
Pat Flynn hit 2 home runs in a game against the HarbourCats here in Victoria last year with that swing. He just got under it, but I think you know what he was thinking on that first pitch swing. Trying to ambush the first pitch, didn't work out for him.
As they say, swinging for a 5-run home run.
1 down, swung on this one, hit well to right. That ball stood the tracks, the wall, that ball is gone. That is Bryce Rogan with the grand slam with 1 out here in the top of the ninth. Bend has broken it open. They now lead 11-2.
So it's going to take a pretty significant comeback effort in the bottom of the ninth inning, but a tough break for Eccles. She was trying to come in and keep it at a 4-run game to give her team a chance. Was unable to do that, and Mike Spears, the pitching coach, will come out to try to settle her down after she served up the grand slam. Eccles is going to leave here for Victoria.
Eccles will depart. The HarbourCats will go back to the bullpen. 1 out here in the top of the ninth inning. Bend has put up 5 in the inning. They lead 11-2. We'll be back with the new arm here on Go Live Broadcast.
Noble going back. This is over his head, and it's over the wall. Kevin Collard will touch them all. The HarbourCats have tied the game 1-1. Bonneau with a fly ball to right field, and this is going to go back and out of here. There's a drive to left field by Alcantara. This is up, and out. Grand slam for A.J. Alcantara. 6-0 for the HarbourCats. This is driven into center field. Base hit for 4.
We've seen him plenty of times in the field for the HarbourCats at various spots, but on the mound out of the pen for Brian McRae here tonight.
First pitch fouled back by Cal Waterman.
Pruitt is a rising sophomore out of the University of San Diego. He hails from Woodland, California, standing at 5'10", 185. On the season, Pruitt has made 3 appearances on the mound, a 1.58 ERA.
Fouled back again.
Has worked 5 2/3 innings in total on the campaign, allowed 6 hits and a walk. An interesting situation for Brian McRae is where to most effectively utilize Pruitt, because he has swung a hot bat as well. But Pruitt, with a 1-0 record and, as mentioned, a 1.58 ERA, has shown an ability to pitch effectively out of the bullpen as well.
The 0-2 pitch is ball 1. Or strike 3, sorry. Delayed strike call got me. Strike 3, Pruitt starts his outing with a strikeout. 2 outs here in the top of the 9th, and yes, you bring up a good point. Primarily an infielder for the HarbourCats, can play a couple of different positions offensively, but he shows up here and displays a live arm, can touch a 90 off the mound. That definitely plays here in the West Coast League, so why not utilize that when you can?
There is 91 on the first pitch of this at-bat, and that, for Pruitt, that was his first strikeout of the season as well on the last hitter.
Swing and a miss, 1-1 on Rocco Ferrari. Bend has now put up 11 runs on 14 hits. Swung on, hit high and deep to left field. That ball is gone, and then some for Rocco Ferrari. But it deked out both of the radio guys up here, both the broadcasters. It goes foul.
Yeah, well, we've
seen a couple of those this season.
We have. It was a close one for sure. It was well over the fence.
And now Rocco Ferrari is still unsure.
Now he's trotting back to the batter's box. That one, it was a no-doubter. The only question was whether it was going to stay fair, and ultimately they ruled it a foul ball. That was well over the fence in left field.
And now they flash our Go Live broadcast replay on the scoreboard here at RAP. The 1-2 pitch. Swung on high and deep to left again. This one, though, will settle at the track, and that will do it. The Bend Elks put up 5 in the top of the 9th to pull ahead 11-2 as we go to the bottom of the 9th here on Go Live broadcast. to the bottom of the 9th. 11-2, the Bend Elks lead the HarbourCats. An 8-game win streak is on the line. New arm for the Bend Elks, trying to close it out. And we send it over to Mike Edwards.
It's Matthew Kirk, I should say. Third time lucky, hey John. Matthew Kirk is the new right-hander on the mound for the Elks. He's been very effective in 13 games already this season, being heavily utilized, has a 3.48 ERA, has tossed 20 2/3 innings, 14 strikeouts to 11 walks, and 22 hits allowed. Matthew Kirk, his brother Adam, is also a member of this Bend Elks pitching staff.
Ethan Lopez leading off for the HarbourCats. Swing and a miss, 0-2. Bottom third of the order, Lopez, Bellafronto, and Maroney, pending changes. Kirk takes over for Chris Jackson, who throws 8 innings, allowing 2 unearned runs on 4 hits with 3 walks and 7 strikeouts. Best outing of the year for Jackson. There's a swing and a miss, strike 3 on Lopez.
HarbourCats down to just their last 2 outs of this one, and we'll look ahead to tomorrow evening's game. As we already mentioned, Adam McKillican is the starter, or the projected starter for Victoria. And the HarbourCats always look forward to when it's McKillican's turn in the rotation, given the performance he has shown from start to start this season.
Bellafronto gets into one to right center field, back, and that's over the head in center, and will roll to the wall. Bellafronto into second with a 1-out double.
And that was a screaming double over the head of the center fielder Chapman for Nick Bellafronto. Very solid contact, and that one rolled all the way to the wall.
You mentioned Adam McKillican will be 4-0 heading into the game tomorrow. And it pays to have a guy like that who can fill one of 2 roles, either be a stopper when things are not going well, or, as we're going to look at tomorrow, hopefully be one to keep the momentum going and make sure tonight's game is a blip and hopefully get back in the win column. Nick Maroney grounds the first pitch to second base, bobbled but picked up and thrown for the second out, runner to third. 2 outs now in the bottom of the 9th, so back up to Harry Shipley with the HarbourCats. Only 1 out remaining, so some quick house cleaning before this one comes to a close. 6:35 is the first pitch tomorrow night here on Go Live Broadcast, and then Sunday is a 1:05 start. Both games here on Go Live Broadcast. Harry Shipley stands in 1 for 3 with a walk, taking a strike.
And following this series against Bend, the HarbourCats will stay at home for the next week. They have a day off Monday before opening up a 3-game series on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday against the Yakima Valley Pippins.
0-1. Called strike, 0-2.
And then the HarbourCats will have another day off on Friday before 2 non-league games against the Burnaby Bulldogs on Saturday and Sunday here at Royal Athletic Park.
And this one, though, is down to its final strike. Matthew Kirk is up 0-2. High, 1 ball and 2 strikes. The HarbourCats with the loss will fall to 18-14 overall and 4-1 in the second half. Bend will go up to 13-18, 1-3 in the second half. Grounded foul.
And this, I think, is it's certainly a big win for the Elks to get on the board in the win column here in this second half, as they hope to push up the standings and win the South Division, trying to catch Corvallis.
1-2 pitch, swung on, hit well to right field, but that is right in the tracks of Clayton, and that's the ball game. The Bend Elks come into Victoria and crash the winning streak. Final score 11-2 for the Bend Elks. They go up to 13-18, 1-3 in the second half. HarbourCats are down to 18-14. 4-1 in the second half. Final lines, 11 runs on 14 hits, 1 error for Bend. For Victoria, 2 runs, 5 hits, 3 errors. The win goes to Chris Jackson. He goes 8 innings, allowing 2 unearned runs on just 4 hits with 7 strikeouts and 3 walks. The loss for the HarbourCats goes to Isaac Mullins. He pitches 6 innings, allowing 6 runs and a couple of unearned runs mixed in there. My name is Jonathan Hodson, and for my broadcast partner, Mike Edwards, we want to thank you for watching Go Live broadcasts on this Friday night. And Mike, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a blast.
Thanks, John. We'll see you tomorrow.
That's all for the HarbourCats and the Elks.